All right, so this is the upright cross stitch where you can see it's already been worked here. And I am going to demonstrate how to do this stitch. Again, I'm going to demonstrate the entire stitch at one time. So let me start a couple rows down so I'm not getting into that established row. So you're going to come up. You're going to cross over 1 and 2 canvas threads, working a vertical stitch. And then your cross is going to cross over this stitch. Again, now we're going horizontally over 1, 2 canvas threads. And so you can see how the cross is made. You're going to skip a hole, and then you're going to do your next cross. So you're going to go vertical over 1, 2 canvas threads. This time I'm going to come up from the left and move to the right because I want to come up in an empty hole and go down in this shared hole. And then you're going to, again, skip this hole and then move over 1. Vertical 1, 2, and then you're going to cross it. Again, moving from left to right on the cross. And I'm just going to continue to work this horizontally across the row. Making sure that your horizontal stitch lays on top of the vertical stitch. We want to keep that consistent throughout the entire stitching process. Oops, nope. Again, up, cross over 1, 2, and then again, this stitch, crossing over 1, 2. Skipping a hole, coming up. These stitches are the exact same length. They just, one moves vertical and one moves horizontal to form the cross. And now that I am at the end of the row, I am going to come back, and you will see from the row above, where I've already stitched, they're offset a little bit. So when you come down to do the next row, your vertical stitch is going to lay inside of these 2 stitches above. So this is where you're going to start the next row. And again, you're going to skip 1, 2 canvas threads. You're going to go down where the 2 horizontal crosses met. You see how that's sharing? And then you are going to come up at the bottom of that vertical stitch from the row above, and you're going to cross it and go down in the bottom of the other vertical stitch from the row above. So almost every hole except for 1 is being shared with a fiber from the above row. So here I skipped a stitch, or a hole, I'm sorry, and coming up here, going up vertically just like we did above, 1, 2, and then I am going to come up on the right side and cross over and go down on the left. Skip this hole, come up here, 1, 2, and then cross here and go down there. So our cross is moving from the bottom of this vertical stitch to the bottom of the next one beside it. And so you will see how the second row of the upright cross sets kind of inside the upper row. It's offset, which makes it just kind of snug and tight. Gives it a great, great bumpy look. I've used it for several backgrounds, buildings, clothing. It's just a great stitch. I am using, for this purpose, Pepper Pot silk, which is a little thinner. So because this stitch is so snug, I would just caution you not to use a fiber that's too puffy, too thick. And I am working on 18 count, which is the smaller mesh. If you're working on 13 count, you certainly could use a puffier fiber. And just be careful, you know, this is a great time to use those tulip needles that have the really good point on it, because you just want to be careful not to split the stitches any more than you have to, since you're shearing so many holes. Now that I'm at the end of the row, and you'll notice I've been very consistent. On the second row, I've continued to come up on the right-hand side and go down on the left. And I would encourage you to be consistent as well. So in the next row, you can see that there's the gap between this stitch and this stitch. That's where your next row is going to lay. So you're going to come down here, okay? Cross over 1, 2 canvas threads. And again, I'm going to move from from left to right. You're going to skip this hole, come up in the next, go over 1, 2 canvas threads, come up on the left-hand side, and cross it on the right. Come up here, go over 1, 2, come up here, and go down there. And then you, again, just continue to work it. So again, this is the upright cross.